want to welcome everybody to our session number 3, Career Pathways, or Career Ready Monroe, and the pathway today is the Human Services pathway. I am, as I said, recording the session, just so you're aware. I have placed a link in the chat to everyone for the students to record your attendance. There's a Google form, a link to a Google form. So just click through to that and input your information so that we can record that you were here today. As you're hearing from the speakers, have some questions ready to go, students. Now's your chance to ask. Later on in the session, we will have Q&A. You can do that either through putting your question in the chat or by raising your hand on the little icon, and we'll get to your questions later on. For the presenters, we were doing 15 minutes, but that seemed to not be enough. So when you get close to 20 minutes, I'm going to let you know that give you a little bit of a warning so that we can get to everyone, but you will have up to 20 minutes to give your remarks. I think that's it. I'll continue to monitor the waiting room and the chat for questions. And I guess that was all. So we have 3 speakers. Like I said, one is missing. I'm going to try to reach out to him while we get started here. But I'd like to welcome Jennifer. Is it Aquila? I want to make sure. Aquila. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. She is the Education Relations Manager for the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. So Jennifer, I will turn it over to you. And
all right. Great. Well, thank you. Thank you all for having me today. So students, I know I cannot see you, but somebody tell us that you can hear me. Anyone? Okay, thank you, Daniel. Brownie points. Thank you, Amanda. All right. So my name is Jennifer. I work for the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, which I have been with for all of 3 months. So this is very much a learning game for me. I'm going to start and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story so you know how I got here. But before we do this, I want to do an exercise that the students do. And I know that I cannot see you. So Randy and Michelle, you can follow along with the exercise. What I want you to do is I want you to put your hand up. Then I want you to turn it towards the back. And students, I want you guys to pat yourself on the back because this is absolutely phenomenal that you are participating in something where you are out exploring what the world has to offer you. I never had that experience. Things like career pathways and internships and things, they just weren't something that we did when I was younger. So part of my story starts with my mom and dad. I was a senior and they said, you're going to go to college. I didn't know what I was going to do. And sadly, Michelle, maybe you can understand, but back in the day when females went to college, there weren't a lot of options for like, you can be anything that you want to be. You were a teacher or you were a nurse. So I went and I decided I was going to be a teacher and I got all the way through and I was student teaching. And I thought, oh, I really don't want to do this. So my mom said, well, tough, you're going to finish it out and you're going to go get a job. So I finished my degree. Still wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but I found a job in a career center at a very small college. And I started there, and funny because I was now helping give career advice, somebody who had never gotten it myself. So I learned a lot about industry. I learned a lot about job shadowing, internships, things like that. I got pretty good at that job, and the president of the college came and said, we want you to be the next registrar, but you need to have a master's degree. I said, well, I don't have a master's degree. And she said, we're going to pay for you to go and get one. So I went and got a master's degree so I could be a registrar. So my first point of reference in here is you never know when opportunity is going to come your way. So if an opportunity comes your way, think fully about taking advantage of it. Because I went out then and I got that master's degree and I was the registrar. And I spent about 24 years in higher education at colleges at that point. I've been a registrar, I've been a dean of scheduling, I've been a director of admissions, I've been a director of career pathways. And all of that led me to the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, because about 4 months ago, they posted a job for an education relations manager. And that person is somebody who goes out and makes sure that students are exposed to what the industry and what their members have to offer. So that's what I'm sitting here and I'm talking about today. So what do? Well, I kind of combine the best of what I feel is an education and a business degree, and I go out and I talk to you guys about what's out there for you. So let me talk a little bit about tourism, and then I'm going to talk about jobs. So I will tell you a couple of things I've learned in the 3 months is that hospitality and tourism in general are really industries that students can start at the bottom and they can move their way to the top. Now, do you guys know what I mean by starting at the bottom? Kind of has a negative connotation. Do you guys know what that means? Maybe? Well, let me explain because I can't see and nobody's saying yes. So starting at the bottom really means, and starting at the bottom is not a bad thing, guys. When you have very little experience or you have no experience in a new degree or a new certificate or some new training, you're going to start at the bottom. Starting at the bottom means that you're probably not managing anybody. You're at the bottom of the pay scale because you're looking to get your foot in the door. You're looking to get some experience. Now you need to work. You kind of need to prove who you are, gain some of those skills, prove that you're reliable, and then you start working your way up the ladder. So hospitality, tourism, restaurant, those are certainly industries where you can start working even as a high school student part-time, and you could realistically work your way up the ladder, whether you want to do so without further training or you want to do so after high school. You want to go on and complete a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, or some sort of certification, or all of those degrees. So you can really move your way through the industry. I have also learned that tourism in general is 25% of the jobs available in the Pocono Mountains. That means there's a lot of jobs available in this industry for students to take advantage of. I've learned that travel spending exceeds $3.3 billion annually. That means people are coming into, and when I say that, I'm saying travel spending in the Pocono Mountains, which is your Carbon, Monroe, Pike, and Wayne counties. That means a lot of people are bringing their money over to the Pocono Mountains and they're spending it. And therefore, there's employers that are looking to hire people to help those guests spend that money. So before I move on to the kinds of jobs, and let's talk a little bit about that, I want to also let you know that I'm going to talk a little bit about local jobs because obviously I work for the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau. But when I talk about this, hospitality and tourism are certainly industry. It's an industry that you can work locally, you can work nationally, or you can work globally. So you can take your skill set wherever you choose to go. So when I talk about hospitality, I'm really talking about hospitality. I'm talking about hotel and hotel management. I'm talking about the tourism industry. I'm talking about the culinary and restaurant industry, and I'm talking about recreation management. So it's a big term used for a couple of umbrellas. And what is hospitality and tourism? Well, if I was to sum it up, I'd really say that it's a job where you are providing exceptional service to guests, regardless of whether you're at the front desk of a hotel or you're an event or wedding planner, or you're the food and drink manager at a local resort. The idea is that you're providing a service to a set of guests. What types of people do well in this position? Students who like to plan, students who are fairly organized or can maintain organization, students that are aware of their surroundings and of people, and not only aware, but they're tolerant of lots of different people and lots of different environments. Students who have the ability to manage or handle stress well, because sometimes an interaction with a guest becomes a stressful situation. Students need to kind of learn to be able to handle that. And there's a little bit of money management and some budgeting and planning that's involved in some of these positions. When I talk about positions, I'm realistically talking about, I'm going to rattle off a little list of positions and then we can talk about them. But students from these industries tend to go on to be an event planner or a wedding planner, do reservations, whether it's at a hotel, a resort, or a tourist attraction. With front desk people, front desk managers, we have concierge, we have food and beverage managers. Obviously, we have chefs. We have travel agents. We have students that walk out of this field and they work for a resort and they do human resources. They go out as the recruiting manager, trying to get other students and other people in this field. And we have students that come out and they do sales and marketing, where they're responsible for bookings or group bookings, and they're going out and they're doing meetings to sell wherever it is they work for to try to get that business to come in. Students can work in hotels, motels, resorts, country clubs, golf clubs, restaurants, lodges, ski slopes, cruise ships, although there's not a lot of those around here, airlines, amusement parks. And when I go back and I talk about recreation management, let's talk about state parks. Let's talk about marinas. Let's talk about golf clubs, because we have that area of the industry that tends to get overlooked. The Poconos are growing. The last time there was a tourism survey done was 2018. The next one is slated for this year. By that point in time, tourism had risen. Jobs in tourism and the amount of taxes they brought had risen 34.5% from the previous study. So what I'm really trying to get across to you guys is this is an industry that's in your backyard, literally, right? You live in Monroe County. That's the heart and soul of the Pocono Mountains. So as you're starting to plan what your future looks like, there are a lot of employers in your area. Now, I know I'm talking about, and I'm focusing a little bit on the hospitality jobs, the recreation jobs, the jobs providing guests to services. But I want to take a moment to make sure that we go over, like, everybody knows where Kalahari is, or what Kalahari is, correct? Mm-hmm. So Kalahari not only hires those students in the jobs I'm talking about, but you have business managers, you have auditors, you have accountants, and you have financial people that work at Kalahari. So when you're sitting here and you're thinking, like, where do I want to live? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? And let's say that maybe your heart isn't in being a concierge, right? You're not somebody that likes to work with people every day. Let's talk about the fact that maybe you're a finance person. Well, these businesses are booming. And part of that means that they're also hiring in other areas. I know it's Carbon County, but Blue Mountain was just looking for mechanics. So they were over at Carbon Career and Technical Institute hiring soon-to-be graduates from their heavy machine operations lab, meaning those students came out, and although they're working at Blue Mountain, and I think you naturally tend to think, oh, tourism, they're not. They're in the garage and they're working on the equipment that people are using, that guest services are using. So I think what I'd like to just make sure that you know is there's a lot of business in the hotel, hospitality, tourism industry sitting in your backyard. Those are places that you could get a job, not only in the tourism field, but the tourism field is only booming. Did we all see the announcement yesterday that Margaritaville resorts are coming up to the old Pocono Manor property? And with it will come hundreds of jobs in 2024. So as you start planning what your pathway looks like, I want to make sure that you're looking at the people in your backyard and thinking what you could bring to them that would help them run their business. Questions, comments? Michelle, I hope I covered the things. I know it's about 14 minutes.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
Does anybody have any
questions? Admitted a couple more people too, so.
And I guess I'd ask, while we're talking about this, does anybody work in a hospitality industry right now as a part-time job? Yes, Randy. Although if you're out of business, come see me, please. Amanda, where did you work? And I'm like, oh, Kalahari. Okay. So you know what it's like to work at Kalahari. And certainly you can work there as a part-time job. Students, when I talked about working in higher education before I came here, one of the things that I used to do is help students get on the pathway. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, you're exploring your pathways, and that's the best thing you could do right now, was to understand what is out there. But what happens at the end of these pathway virtual sessions when you come out and you've listened to 5 of them and you say, I know what I want to do. That's great. So what can you do to get started on the pathway before, let's say your pathway is hospitality, right? And you say, I want to go to college, and there are local colleges, there are colleges with dorms that have the hotel, hospitality, culinary programs that you can go away. You can get a 2-year degree, you can get a 4-year degree, you can go do two 4 years to hold down the cost of tuition. But before you get there where you are in high school, you can certainly start things like job shadowing. You can start internships. You can start visits to local places that may employ you. You can do part-time job. And the other thing I'd say is, as you're picking your courses in high school over the next year to 2 years, try to pick things that give you an experience with a skill set that you are interested in using after high school and beyond, because that will help you get connected and get some experience for that resume. All right.
I should note that there will hopefully be not hopefully, but there will be an opportunity for the students to do some actual internships following this 5 session series. So hopefully we'll get some folks that are interested in, the hospitality pathway, and maybe we can work together with you to get them.
Absolutely, that would be great. And as far as the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, we do a number of things for the members, including marketing, social media management, graphic design, web design. So there's another aspect dealing with hospitality and tourism that's a little bit one-off. So if anybody is interested in that, that is certainly something that we welcome to have an experience, a student to have an experience with us.
Yeah, that's great. I think, a lot of times the hospitality is focused on the front desk, the food service, cooking, housekeeping, that kind of thing. But there's also a lot of opportunities beyond that in, accounting and marketing and sales and that kind of thing. So
absolutely. Looking forward to seeing any students that would like to spend some time with me or us.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. So next up, we have Randy Dietrich. He is the owner of Blue Ridge Winery and Vineyard. Randy, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. You ever hear the saying, you can have anything in life you want, only if you're willing to help enough other people get what they want? You ever hear that saying? If you haven't, you should live your life by that saying, because it truly, the quality of your life has to do with the value you're adding to other people around you. And wanting to be in the tourism industry is perfect for that. So I see myself on a little screen, but you're still on the big screen. Is that okay? It's shooting good right now?
Mm-hmm.
We're good? Okay. So quick background. I'm a product of the vacation industry, guys. I grew up in the Poconos. I lived in Saw Creek up in Bushkill. My mom used to work for Outdoor World, the campground membership system up there. So my mom worked as a sales rep up there since I was probably 7, 8 years old. I used to go to the campground with her. And then when I got old enough, I would actually go to work at the resort system. But before that, I worked as a waiter down at Weathervane's restaurant at the old Fernwood, and Karen was the manager that got you skill sets to be able to interact with people at the table, telling jokes, learning how to have a good personality for people, to serve people, right? That led to being an upgrader at Outdoor World. And anybody out there that's motivated by money, I can tell you, working in the Poconos in a commission business, I was straight commission, I earned $79,000 in 10th grade. There you have it. You can do it right now. It's out there, ready to be taken. Straight commission, high risk, high reward. From there, I worked in that business every year, all through till the end of high school, all through college. Bought a house freshman in college, right? Again, in the Pocono vacation industry, doing upgrades for Outdoor World. If you know where Scott Run Resort is up on 611 it's called Scott Run Resort in Scott Run, the Outdoor World system. It's a campground. I worked there, and also Timothy Lake up in Bushkill. You can make all kinds of money, high risk, high reward in the vacation world. And I always say in life, do what you can with what you have right where you are. That's just the best way to live. And right now, you guys have the freedom of being a young person. You can take any path. But I tell you, if you don't have a goal, a written mission for your life, you're not going to hit anything. No one's ever hit a target that they don't have. So if you don't have a mission statement or a target for your life right now, but At the end of this Zoom meeting, you should sit down at a table and write out what is the mission for your life. I promise you, you'll become more successful than anybody else that does not do that. No one ever accomplished anything great without a target. Try to hit a target you don't have. It's impossible. And so many people, they go, wow, I feel like I'm a wandering generality. I go, that's because you're not a meaningful specific. Write out exactly where you want to go and have everything in your life going in that direction. So the outdoor world thing, right? Made a lot of money, great stuff. After I graduated from college, I went to East Strouds University. Remember, Pocono guy here, right? Grew up with the Poconos. Then I worked for a medical company called B. Braun Medical. I sold infusion equipment. Wasn't the thing for me. I was a guy that came from the Poconos, vacation industry, service industry. I lasted there for 1 year. They fired me a year later, came back into the, oh yeah, it's all good. It's all good, right? Yeah, it's absolutely, I'm proud of it. It's all good. From there, came back into the vacation world, got back to doing my upgrades, back to making 100 grand a year now. And remember, I'm just out of college now, right? From there, I thought, all right, what's the highest end sales position you could possibly get? Well, I'm thinking, all right, in the medical field. So then I went to B. Braun Medical. I used to sell infusion equipment, IVs, catheters, pumps, and stuff like that. Again, it was okay for about a year. Didn't work out too good. From there, I went to a support service company. It was a small startup company, which was a much better fit because I like to be free flowing. I don't like the corporate environment. I never do good in that. So it was called Decubiti Concepts, Support Services, Healing People with Bed Pressures. Great stuff because I had no manager. They said, Randy, go to the Poconos and start your own territory. So day number one, you open up a phone book and start making phone calls, able to build a business, right? From there, a year later, the company's doing $1 million of business in my territory. It went on for a couple of years. The company grew. It sold to someone else. They fired me again. It got too big. It's a classic story. It's all good, right? It's all good. But whenever something closes, new doors open. From there, I decided, why don't we build some houses? I kind of got some skill set stuff. So I started building houses for a while. From there, where did we go from there? From there, ended up getting back in the support service business by starting, you remember Star Medical Equipment in the Poconos? Remember off Route 33, the Star Medical building? That was myself and my wife. We used to be next to Vinnie D's in that shopping plaza. And Star Medical, we grew to be about, I don't know, we probably employed 30, 40, 50 people at one point. And then Medicare changed the rules, competitive bidding kicked in. So again, change your life. I sold the business. And at that point, I had already owned the farm out at the winery. We decided, why don't we start planting vines? And what led to that was ski racing. So I grew up, Shawnee Mountain? I used to go to Shawnee every day, guys. And there's this rule in life. It's called the 10,000 hour rule. If you want to become world-class at anything, you got to put 10,000 hours in. If you don't do that, you're not going to be world-class. 10,000 hours. That's the rule. Whether you're a violinist, you're a mathematician, or you're some guy growing grapes, or you're a ski racer, 10,000 hours. So I had 10,000 hours of skiing in by the time I was like 15 years old because I would ski a lot. My mom dropped us off there. We would ski. She'd pick us up at the end of the night. So I got to race the World Cup for the United States on the ski racing tour. World Cup takes you around the planet. All the races tend to be Germany, France, and Italy, right? You're skiing in the mountains, but it's vineyards in the valley. That's what led to this, to the grapes, to growing vines. I never had any wine, no alcohol until I was 31, because all I did was ski race and work and make money. I want to be successful, So it's funny how if you pursue your dreams of your heart, your life will take you in the direction. If you're not doing that, you're going to wander around. You're going to be chasing things like money. Money should be the byproduct of something else. And Blue Ridge, I'm always looking for upbeat people, guys. Right now, we employ just under 100 people. There's like 98 people that work at Blue Ridge. And man, they're the most enthusiastic, upbeat, positive people on the planet. And every business is looking for someone like that. Every single manager in the world is looking for someone to replace themselves. If I could find someone to do every job I do at Blue Ridge Winery, I would hire them today, because then it frees me up to do other things. And every successful person in any business is thinking like that. They're thinking, how can I replace myself with someone else that's a superstar that can rock the world and make things happen so I don't need to do it, so I can do other things. We're looking for you. We're looking for people that are successful, that are driven, that have a target, that have goals, because everyone else, they're going to be wandering generalities. Set the mission today. What is the vision? What is the mission of your life? Because you cannot hit a target you don't have. Write it on your mirror. And I promise you, your life will go in the direction of the words you're speaking, the thoughts you're thinking, and what you're seeing for your life. So guys, I could go on and on forever. I got a podcast out there called Living on Purpose. If you want to hear a lot of this stuff, go on Apple Podcasts, go on Spotify, look it up. You can do a Google search, Randy Dietrich, or Living on Purpose. It'll pop up. I tackle every challenging topic out there because my mission in life is to add value to other people. That's it. That was my mission since 13 years old, sitting in the parking lot at the Stroud Mall, listening to John Maxwell. If you haven't listened to John Maxwell, treat yourself. It'll change your mind. It'll change your life. And he goes, my mission is to add value to others. I thought, that is going to be my mission for the rest of my life. That's why I'm sitting here with you today, guys. I'm in Florida right now. My kids are out at the pool. My wife's out there. It's sunny. It's beautiful. But I figured I'm going to go back and spend an hour with these students, because if I can impact one of you, if I can convince one of you to write down your life's mission statement at the end of this Zoom meeting, I think I succeeded. But I can tell you that one person that writes it down, you'll become more successful than everybody else combined. That's all it takes. Set the goal, set the mission, and everything in your life goes in that direction. Do it today. Most people don't. So what do you think, guys? What else can I tell you? More about Blue Ridge? Do you want to hear more about Blue Ridge?
Yeah, let them know a little bit more about the winery and what you do there, and events and things like that you do.
Sure. So, well, if you've ever been out to Blue Ridge, on a Saturday, we average around 3,000 people that come to the winery on a Saturday. On Sundays, it's around 2,000. It's a busy place. We have about 10 acres of parking, and it usually fills up all the time. The winery didn't start like that. Everything starts small. It starts with planting one vine in the ground. It starts right with one of you writing a mission statement for your life, and you watch 10 years later, it could be gigantic, like what Blue Ridge is, right? Every day when Tiff and I used to own the medical business, every day we would do one thing to move the business in the direction of opening. If that meant that I came home from seeing patients at the end of the day, and I walked down the field and cut one vine and walked back in and went to bed, that's what it means. You do one thing to move your life in the direction you want to go a little bit every day. You know the saying, you can eat an entire elephant one bite at a time? That's how life is. You can conquer humongous things by taking one step at a time. So now Blue Ridge, like I said, there's just under 100 people that work there. We host an event every single Friday, Saturday, and most times on Sundays. Sometimes there's 2 on Saturdays. We have 2 event coordinators, actually 3 event coordinators. Kathy is the one that starts it. If you call Blue Ridge right now, Kathy would answer the phone. If you wanted to book an event, Kathy coordinates the schedule. She coordinates where it's going to be. We have about 3 different locations to do it, all built out to be gorgeous. From there, she passes it to Teresa. Teresa is a facilitator. We want excellence built upon excellence. So that means every detail matters. This is the way life works. Every detail counts. Kathy coordinates it, passes it to Teresa. Teresa's job is to facilitate it. Teresa has all kinds of people she can work with. She works with Jeff. She works with Ryan. And these are people that she leans on to make the day happen. I got the message yesterday. She goes, this weekend, here's our events. Here's the number of round tables, the number of chairs, the number of setups, the number of servers. These are the wines they've chosen. Life is about preparing for success, not repairing the past. And everything you do should be preparing for success. So everything Blue Ridge does is to prepare for the days that are going to be the grand slam days, like the Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays when it's busy. And always we are preparing upon preparing. When it comes to wine, I make around 50 different wines. It's way too many, but I think, it's way too many. But in life, there's a lot of things that if I can delegate to someone else, I'm going to delegate it. And right now I have a young man, guys. I bet you a lot of people on this call are either 16, 17, 18 years old, if I were to guess. I bet you that's how about old you are. Did you know that Nathaniel Hudson is our lead wine cellar manager at Blue Ridge, and the guy is 18 years old? The guy is brilliant. He lives on the property. He has his own apartment. He's been working with me for about 1.5 years, and Nathaniel is the lead wine cellar at Blue Ridge Winery. You can accomplish anything you want. Age does not matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can accomplish it right now. There's no reason to wait. Start today. And I can tell you this, the other 2 guys in the wine cellar, Jaden and David. David is 21 and Jaden is 18 as well. The age is not a factor to block you from anything you want to be in life. Blue Ridge's average age in our cellar is 19 years old. They can't even taste the wine, but yet they produce the most.
I was just going to say that. They can't
right?
even drink it, but they can manage it, and take care of it. And
they bottle it, they test it. They basically, before Nathaniel ever bottles a wine, he finds me wherever I'm out on the property and runs me a sample and goes, what do you think? Is it ready to bottle? It rocks. The guy is going places, but Nathaniel has goals. He set them out. If you walk in Nathaniel's apartment, you will see his goals written on the wall. The guy's got a vision. And I want to surround myself with people that are on fire for life. You ever hear the saying, set yourself on fire and people come watch you burn? When you're on fire and you have a passion for what you want to do, you cannot help but be successful. But it's a matter about pursuing the dreams you have, not what anyone else has. That's the key to the whole darn thing. Where's your passion? Find your passion and go after it. You'll never wonder, why don't I have energy? Because you'll have boundless energy. At Blue Ridge, we manage things down to a T. The simple of it all, like today, there's one server there serving wine. There are probably around 6 administrative people, in there setting up the winery, getting things, getting things administratively going. My wife still does payroll with Lizzie's help now. Sally is a major player at Blue Ridge. Sally's been with us since the beginning, and Sally is somewhat like the glue that holds a lot together. I mentioned Teresa; she manages a lot there. But guys, I am looking for people that want to make great things happen in the world. I'm looking for people that are on fire for life, that they're excited, and they come to work and they smile. Because if you go on Google right now and you start reading all the Google reviews of Blue Ridge, there's thousands upon thousands of them. And most of them mention that everyone smiles at Blue Ridge. The one this past week, they go, even the guys carrying the cases of wine upstairs were smiling. And I can tell you, Tony and Noah are 2 young guys that go to school locally here and at Pleasant Valley. And Noah, I can tell you right now, these 2 young men, Noah is a senior in college. Noah has a company truck. He drives back and forth to school. Nothing's stopping you. You can have a company vehicle while in high school. Those guys are on track to make probably just a little under 50 grand. There's nothing stopping you. Age doesn't matter. You can accomplish it right now. Set yourself on fire. Become excited for everything in life. Know what motivates you. Is it money? Is it serving others? What is it? Find what it is and put yourself in a spot to have the value. I read this thing the other day. They go, a bottle of water costs 10 cents at BJ's. You go to McDonald's and it costs $1. You go to Donny Park, it costs $5. You go to the airport, it costs $10. It's the same bottle of water. Where do you add the most value? Go there and be there, because that's where your life is at.
Great. Thanks so much, Randy.
Thanks, Michelle.
Appreciate your comments. We're going to switch gears a little bit now. We heard a lot about the hospitality industry, which is a big part of our economy here in Monroe County. But we have Rocco Lombardo from Pocono Services Pocono Services for Families and Children. He's the Director of Learning and Development. And part of this pathway also includes education, social services, counseling, child development, and Rocco comes from that world. Pocono Services for Families and Children is an organization, nonprofit organization that serves the community. They operate Head Start programs, pre-K counts, school age kid programs, a whole variety of things. So Rocco, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thanks to Randy for being such an easy act to follow. I do want to mention, Randy, I am going to reach out to you just so we can talk John Maxwell.
I'm
I
with
had
you.
the privilege to see him once. So, and thanks, Michelle, for speaking a little bit about the agency. So Pocono Services for Families and Children has been around since 1965. When they served 12 needy children just for the summer. And now we serve over 300 families a year, just our agency, but we'll also talk later on about all the partnerships we have and the Mountain Center, which is a national award-winning center. So what are we looking for? And the main thing right now is if you love children of all ages, from infant to teen, and I know some of you are saying, well, wait a minute, I am a teen. We can also serve you in one of our programs, because all the things that Randy is talking about choosing your vision, figuring out your career path, making a plan, our youth empowerment services can help you with that. So we have 2 main centers, one in East Stroudsburg and one in Tobyhanna. That's the Mountain Center. And so what we're looking for right now, and if you're, again, 16, 17, 18, looking for a career path working with children, working with the youngest, infant and toddler, or preschool children from 3 to 5. And I will say, this takes a special person. I don't do that personally at the agency, but I have tremendous respect for anybody who can spend an entire day in a classroom with 3 and 4-year-olds. So I don't try to sell that. I try to let you know that you need to be prepared and patient, and you'll be surrounded by people who can help you learn how to be that and how to serve these children. Because when you start this early, the difference this makes when we have adults come back that have been part of our program, and talk about where their lives are now and still remember the difference their early childhood education teacher makes. So if you want to look back at the end of your life and say, wow, I really made a dent in the universe, this is the thing to do. Then secondly, beyond that, we do work with school age. So if you prefer to work with some older kids, maybe even closer to your own age, if you are in fact 16, 17, 18, and it's a different set of challenges, we have a program that does that. And then youth empowerment services. So whether it's being employed with us, or having us help you find people like Randy and Blue Ridge or different places that might fit your passion or where you need to be. We can do that and help you develop the skills, not only to get the job, but to keep the job and succeed in the job and move up in the job, because those are all very different ideas that you have to learn about. So right now, that's who we're hiring. Also, if you have a desire to help families and adults, we have kind of a social work component. We have family advocates. There is no other program in Monroe County that has both the early childhood and a family advocate in the same place. And our family advocates meet with our families, help them set goals that they choose for their own lives and how they want things to be different. So there's that component. If mental health is something that you're interested in, we have our child well-being system where people with training in psychology and social work help our teachers and our youngest children manage behavior issues and emotional issues. So there's a pathway there. If you're not sure about all this, we can provide the opportunities. I think hopefully things are opening up now for both internships and volunteer, because you may want to go check this out and see, is this for me? And that's certainly a legitimate question. And we can help you do that, where you get some time in the classroom, time working with the families to figure out if this is for you. So we can also offer that. If you are planning on going to college, getting certain degrees, and at this point you anticipate having to get loans to do that, you can get loan forgiveness working for a nonprofit like Pocono Services for Families and Children. And if you've investigated any of this at all, you know that this could be, many, many thousands of dollars that you could be saving by choosing to work somewhere that can help with that. And I did want to just share a couple of stories to kind of give you a sense of what it really means to work there. So the Mountain Center, just to talk a little bit about that. So in addition to all of our programs, our former executive director, Tim Lee, helped us purchase a school in Tobyhanna. So one side is all of our programs, and the other side is everything else you could need. So if you think about going to the mall and they have everything you need, in terms of human services, everything you need, basically from birth to old age, is in our building. And we had a woman come in, and she was under a lot of stress. And she said, I really have to apply for public assistance. So we were able to bring her to the representative's office because they could help her do that. And she says, oh, and I need food. So we went next door to the food pantry. Oh, and I need care for my children. Oh, okay, we can set you up with that. Oh, I also need a job. Now I run the job club. So we help all of our families find employment, and as well as our teens through the youth empowerment services. So we were able to help her find some work almost immediately. So it's a really exciting place to work and challenging place to work. You will gain skills that you might not gain in other environments, just because of the support and development we do, as well as just some of the challenges you'll face. So I am available for questions afterwards, but I did want to also put up, I think I have screen share. If you have more questions about this, you can just write this down and reach out to me. Let me know that you were here at this workshop, and I will reach out and answer any questions you have, set up a time to speak with you, maybe even have people from this come in as a group to talk about what opportunities we have or other opportunities that we can help connect you with.
Okay. Thank you, Rocco.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So I guess we're up to our Q&A session. If I don't see any questions in the chat yet, students, if you have questions, please put them in the chat or raise your hand and unmute yourself. And
I just want to point out that Randy made more in 10th grade than I made last year.
You're funny. You're funny.
I missed that part.
You
Funny.
did. He made $79,000 when he was in 10th grade. So I will be coming up with my vision statement and my goals on my wall.
Like that.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Questions, students? Now's your chance. Like I said before, we hope to be doing some, giving you some hours for internships. So as we're going through each of these sessions, if you have in mind a particular pathway or a particular area of interest, let your school coordinator know that at your high school, and we will do our best to make the arrangements for you to be able to get out and do some actual work experience and job shadowing and seeing what goes on in all of these exciting places to work right here in Monroe County. So.
There is also a youth job fair coming up. I don't know if you already spoke about that.
Oh, we did not give them the
May-
information about that.
That will be May 13th at the Mountain Center, which is up in Tobyhanna. And again, I'll put up my email address again if you're interested in coming to the job fair and also learning how to be at a job fair. There are programs at CareerLink that can help you with that, and we can help you with that. In fact, there's a good chance that a lot of you, if you've worked with the YES program, already know our executive director, Christy. So I will put up that email address one more time. And please reach out if you have an interest about the job fair. I can email you a flyer or reach out and speak to you about it. So
We will have the information about the job fair on the events page, careerreadymonroe.org. We have a separate website for our career pathways program. So we'll get that information and get that posted up there as an event. Okay, just sent the link to the Google form again in case anyone didn't record their attendance. Guess if there's no other questions, if there's anything else any of the speakers would like to add, you can feel free to do that. If not, then we'll wrap it up for today. No questions.
just please reach out if you have questions that you'd rather not ask here. And there are no bad questions. So please reach out.
Thank you for having us. And students, thank
Yes,
you for
thank you.
listening and attending.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for sharing your remarks and your insight. I love the enthusiasm.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Well,
Thanks,
we'll
y'all.
wrap it up then. Thanks again. Have a great day, everybody.